Hey, it's Captain Roger. Let's go for a walk. You know, as we get near the end of the book of Numbers, we come up to what seems like it's the worst travelogue in history. It details all the places the Israelites went since leaving Egypt, and it reads like a bad set of Google Map directions. And they left this place and went to that place, and they left this place and went to that place, and they left this place and went to that place. But like a page and a half of this, and so on. The first 3 or 4 places do actually include some other information about the location, like the fact that Etham's at the edge of a desert, or how in Elam there are 12 springs and 70 palm trees. But then it mostly just tells about the stops. No other comments. And then, after 40 years of wandering, they get to this place where Aaron, the high priest and the older brother of Moses, he dies. And so that gets mentioned, which is interesting, but more so because of a single line at the end of a little mini obit that says, the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev of Canaan, heard that the Israelites were coming. Like he hadn't noticed them before, somewhere in the last 40 years while they're hanging around the outside of his territory. Altogether, there are 42 stops that get mentioned. And even though Israel has made themselves a royal pain in the tuchus along the way, that does not get mentioned. Apparently, it wasn't important, or at least not as important as the main point of this kind of list. What really matters is that the Lord sustained his people in barren lands for more than 40 years as they journeyed to, away from, back around towards, and then finally into the promised land. What mattered was God's care, not their grumbling. One of the commentators I read said, more important than all the sorry history of sin and failure is the divine provision of grace. I really like that. To me, this is what walking with God is about. Learning to live with his grace. I think most of us are willing and able to accept that we've screwed up here and there in our past. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. But what we struggle with is getting past that. We hold on to old hurts and hang-ups like they're somehow necessary to our ongoing survival, when the reality is they're usually what's killing us. But then God offers us grace. Grace, that's a fancy church word. It simply means gift. As in God saying, look, I give you the gift of starting over. Now let's walk together. And that's what this list really is. It's a tribute to God's grace. It's a list of all the places God walked with his people, even when it was a struggle to stay with them. But the Lord never walked away from them. And he won't walk away from us either. And that is a promise we can trust in, no matter what place we find ourselves in. I need to finish my walk today. Grace and peace to you. See you tomorrow.